Assalamualaikum dear students. Our today's topic for discussion is The Sniper. It's a story written by Liam O Flaherty. Dear students, in today's class we will start from para number 3. Let's start. He was eating sandwich hungrily. He had eaten nothing since morning. He had been he had been too excited to eat. He finished the sandwich and taking a flask from his pocket, he took a short draught. Then he returned the flask to his pocket. He paused for a moment, considering whether he should risk a smoke. It was dangerous. The flash might be seen in the darkness, and there were enemies watching. He decided to take the risk. Dear students, here writer tells us that the sniper was eating a sandwich hungrily. He had eaten nothing since morning. He had been too excited to eat because he had eaten nothing since morning. So that's why he had been too excited to eat. He finished the sandwich. He took he then took a flask from his pocket, and then he took a short drink of whiskey. Then he returned the flask into his pocket. Right? This sniper, he was too excited to eat. So when he finished the sandwich, he just took a flask from his pocket. He took a short drink of whiskey. Then he returned the flask to his pocket. He stopped for some moment. He stopped for some time and thought, if he should smoke. It was dangerous to smoke. The flash from the cigarette could be seen in the darkness. The enemy was watching, so he decided to take the risk. Right? When he returned the flask to his pocket, he stopped for a moment. He thought that if she should smoke, it was dangerous position. It was odd time. It was not good time for the smoking. He thinks that the flash from the cigarette could be seen in the darkness. Even then, because he was knowing it that the enemy was watching, but even then he decided to take the risk. Right? Now, Pharaoh 4. Placing a cigarette between his lips, he struck a match, inhaled and smoked hurriedly, and put out the light. Almost immediately, a bullet flattened itself against the parapet of the roof. The sniper took another whiff and put out the cigarette. Then he swore softly and crawled away to the left. Dear students, here writer says that as and when this sniper put a cigarette between his lips, what happened? And then when he lit a match, inhaled the smoke quickly, and put out the light. So after this light, after his lighting the cigarette, suddenly a bullet from the enemy's rifle hits against the parapet of the roof. Right? Here writer wants to say that when the sniper put a cigarette between his lips, and then when he inhaled the smoke after lighting the lighting a match, and then when he started to inhale quickly and put out the light. Soon after the lighting the cigarette, a bullet from the enemy, because enemy was watching from the opposite side. When he saw the light of the cigarette, a bullet from the enemy's rifle hit against the parapet of the roof. He took another pull of the cigarette and put out the cigarette. The sniper suddenly he then quickly took another pull of the cigarette and then put out the cigarette. Then he uttered an abusive word gently and crawled away to the left side. Cautiously, he raised himself and peered over the parapet. There was a flash, and a bullet whizzed over his head. He dropped immediately. He had seen the flash. It came from the opposite side of the street. He rolled over the roof to a chimney stack in the rear and slowly drew himself up behind it until his eyes were level with the top of the parapet. There was nothing. There was nothing to be seen, just the dim outline of the opposite house step against the blue as the blue shirt enemy was and against the blue sky enemy was under cover. Cautiously, how? Here writer wants to see that the sniper raised himself. That the writer Here writer says that the sniper raised himself very carefully and looked over the parapet of the roof of the house on which he lay. That says that the sniper raised himself very carefully and looked over the parapet of the roof of the house on which he lay. He saw the flash of a light coming from a rifle. This had come from the opposite side of the street. This was the fire from the enemy's rifle. Just then an armored car came across the bridge and advanced slowly up it stopped on the opposite side of the street 50 yards ahead. The sniper could see the dull panting of the motor. His heart beat. His heart beat faster. His heart beat faster. His heart beat faster. It was an enemy car. He wanted to fire, but he knew it was useless. His bullet would never pierce the steel that covered the grey monster. Dear students, here writer says that just then at that time a large military vehicle made up of steel for protection came across the bridge and that moved slowly up the street. What happens at that time? That just at that time a large military vehicle made of steel for protection came across the bridge and moved slowly up the street. It stopped on the opposite side of the street. It was stopped at a distance of 50 yards ahead. The sniper on the top of a house could hear the sound of the military vehicle. His heart began to beat faster. The students, he could make out that it was an enemy vehicle. He pointed out that it was an enemy vehicle. It is the vehicle of the enemy. So he wanted to fire at it, but he knew that it could not be able to damage the enemy vehicle. The vehicle was made of steel and his bullet would never pierce the steel that covered the vehicle. Thank you very much.